One, I came from a broken family, and growing up, to me, love wasn't something that lasted. Love wasn't something that was safe, because my father left when I was 2, my sister was 4, and most of, unfortunately to say, my aunts and uncles, they cheated on each other, they got divorces. Even my grandfather, when my grandmother was 52, I'll never forget it, he left her for another woman, and I was 11 years old, and it really just destroyed me. And from that point on, men weren't to be trusted, and love didn't last, and it affected me when I got into high school and I got into what you call quote-unquote serious relationships. And the first serious relationship I had, I really thought he loved me. He says, well, show me, and he put me to the test. And I did, and at the age of 15, I lost my virginity, thinking it was gonna cause this huge, great emotional bond between us, be on cloud 9, and I really thought we'd just be so in love. And it was interesting, it just distorted and destroyed any love in that relationship, and all respect was just thrown out the window, because if I couldn't respect my own body, he wasn't gonna respect it, you know? And honestly, I lost a lot of respect for myself. And the thing is, once you cross that line, once you do that, you really think, well, it's too late. What's gone is gone, right? It's done. And so I spiraled into a series of really bad promiscuous relationships, and also just the lifestyle that follows with that. They go hand in hand. And the further you go into sin, the deeper you get, and you don't realize how far you're really going until you're there, and you just feel so buried. And I got into the partying, I got into the drinking, I got into the clubbing. And a lot of it, honestly, was just to numb the pain, to numb the actions, to numb the reality of what I was doing to myself and allowing it, you know? And after a while, I just didn't know what to do, and I was at such a loss. But our God is a God of second chances, and he was not done with me. And my mother came up to me and she says, Crystalina, there's a chastity talk, and you're going. And I made fun of it, I laughed, I was just, I'm not going. And I thought, okay, I'll sit in the back of the church for 15 minutes, that's it, I'm gone. And in that 15 minutes, I thought I was gonna sit there. God just changed my life completely. There was a guy who was very honest, blunt, and really talked about all the girls and his own past. And the one thing that I noticed that pierced the darkness that I was living in, that nobody could penetrate, was that he wasn't ashamed of himself. I longed not to be ashamed of myself. I longed not to live in that filth and in that fear. And when I saw that in him, and there was that message that you can start over, that God can make you new, I clinged onto it, because that's really what I was looking for in all of that false love. I needed to know that I was wanted, that I was loved, and I saw that message in him, and I grabbed onto it. And slowly, by the grace of God, I didn't become a saint overnight, granted, nobody does. I was able to turn my life around, and I didn't fall again. And in that, I found my call, what I felt like God was calling me to do with my life, and that was help young people learn the message that it doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, what you've done, that God loves you exactly where you're at, and he wants to forgive you, and he wants to make your life new and whole, but you have to just take that step, that leap of faith towards him. And I just wanted to scream from the rooftops that you can start over, because nobody was saying that. That was a non-existent message back then. And I just saw my girlfriends falling over and over and really getting hurt, and they just thought, well, that's how it is. This is who I am now, and it's not, and that's the lie. And so then I flew out to become a chastity speaker, answering God's call and learn about it, and that's where I met Jason at this chastity conference, right? Who knew? Anyway, then I got into the chastity ministry and speaking, and Jason and I obviously ended up getting married. And I feel like I had a second conversion where I actually went deeper in my faith and in this call that God was asking me to do within my life.